Magic exists in many forms, and one of these forms is necromancy. And when I hear the word necromancy, I can't help but think of Dungeons and Dragons, where you have a sorcerer applying his magic, bringing the dead back from the ground. And in this case, I had a recommendation from one of our Supernatural Confessions member, Marcus. Marcus, thank you very much for bringing this to my attention. He said that there is a chatter among the Thai community in Singapore that a legendary Ajarn by the name of Ajarn Nien Air is in Singapore. Now this Ajarn has a lustrous history, but when I researched on this Ajarn Nien Air, what I discovered, and I'm quoting directly from what I read, he is Thailand's legendary necromancer. Not one of, but the most legendary necromancer. And he is in Singapore this week. I managed to get in touch with the person who brought him in, and he managed to secure me a time slot today to interview Ajarn Nien Air. He is so popular in Singapore that he's been seeing people from 9 a.m. when he wakes up all the way to 4 a.m. the next morning. And it's been like that for one whole week. Of all the things that he's known for, he's of course known for Sakyen, he's known for Wicha and black magic, but Lokok is his signature. Now, Lokok is using the actual fetus, cook it or barbecue it and use it for black magic, in this case, necromancy work. Sounds evil and dark, right? So I'm interested to find out more. Of course, it's illegal, and according to newspaper report, Ajarn Nien was incarcerated for over a year because of black magic practices in Thailand. So there's a lot of history to this guy. I just want to find out a bit more, ask him the questions, and see if this entire practice is as dark as it really is, or perhaps there's a humane side to this. And from what I learned about Thai magic already, magic is neutral. It's how you apply this magic that makes the difference between a good person or an evil person. So let's see what Ajarn Nien has to say today. Come, follow me. I really don't feel you. Is anyone here? What did you find? You are listening to Supernatural Confessions. The master that we have here today is a famous Ajarn Nien Air, who's known as a legendary necromancer.
Yes.
The word necromancer that we understand is someone who deals with the dead, go into the cemetery, bring the dead to life. How much of what we know as a society with regards to the word necromancer is actually true, and what is fictional or myth?
I would like to say this is the perfect description to describe Ajarn Nien Air, because he was actually very famous at the age of 20 plus, going to 30. He was doing all those what they call nam mam pai, which is in English, in layman words, which call it crops oil. So crops oils are actually so it's just like the words. So it's burned from crops. So Ajarn Nien Air in the past, so he actually went to the cemetery and he really burned all the crops and take all the oil from it to make it into magical items.
Okay.
So this word necromancer definitely suits him.
So in this case, as a necromancer, you cannot bring the dead back. There's no bringing the dead back, like animate the corpse or capture people's soul.
มันคนตายคนเหมือนฟื้นขึ้นมาถ้ามันตายถ้าหมดอายุแล้วก็ยากถ้าตายแบบว่าเป็นลมเส้นไปสิ้นติไปนี่ก็ฟื้นขึ้นมาได้
If a person he is going to die, but he is going to die because of good old age, so there's nothing he can do. But if a person is going to die, but because he's going to die because he's a victim of black magic, he's a victim of negative energy, or he has actually offended someone, he can do special prayers at the correct and suitable time to actually to stop the person from dying and let him continue his lifespan.
What are the most common kinds of blessings that people will come to Ajarn for?
มาลงหน้าทองสักสาริกาลิ้นทองมาสักหัวใจคุกนะฮะแล้วก็มาพรมน้ำมนต์มาดูดวงชะตามีปัญหาอะไรมาปรึกษามาขอสินขอพรขอบารมีปลุกเสกวัตถุมงคลนะฮะมาบูชาวัตถุมงคลกับอาจารย์เนนแอร์มาเป่าผงทิเก
So most people who actually comes here, he will actually come and get his blessing for charm, for convincing power, And what he mentioned is the itiche, which is one of his specialty, which is the magic for charm. And then of course, then some people, they will come over here for fortune telling. They will come and look for me for fortune telling, and then after that they will ask for recommendation. After they get their blessing, then they will see what are the suitable items for them. So normally we will recommend them based on their astrology, based on their date of birth and their job scope before we recommend them what are the suitable items for them. And most of the time, because Ajarn Nien Air is here, so they want to get some items of Ajarn Nien Air personally from his hand. พ่อก็คือเมื่อกี้ผู้ชมอ่ะมันถามว่าก็คือหุ่นอ่ะที่พ่อตั้งขึ้นมามันหมายความว่าอะไรมันทำเพื่ออะไร
หุ่นนี้ทำให้รักให้หลงไหลครับหรือว่าไอ้มีไหลไอเลิกอยู่ไอไหลอยู่ครับ
The Necromancer is trying to explain that this is actually the traditional way of doing a love prayer. So which are actually is done for couples who have actually issue quarreling or they have already been separated for each other. So this is the traditional way and the most effective way to actually to make a couple to come back together. So what he has been doing just now, the traditional way is to use actually candle wax, but it has to be from the cemetery in order to be the most effective ingredient to make these two voodoo. One of it, he will do it into a voodoo of a female, and the other one he will do it into a voodoo of a man. He will also put the name and the date of birth into both the different voodoos. This is the complete one and this is the individual one. So he will do some chanting and he will actually brings the two voodoo together, signifying that this couple
ทำให้นายให้หนีเรียกว่าตัดมือที่3ให้เลิกกับมือที่3ให้เลิกล้างจากกันไป
So this is the most effective traditional way and he has been doing this for like 40 over years. He learned this Vicha from Khmer, which is actually Cambodia. So he has been doing it even before we get to see it on the social media. So he is one of the pioneers. That's why he has earned his name as the Necromancer. The Thai, they believe this is actually to be one of the most powerful prayers to actually to bring to salvage a broken relationship. So this has actually been a belief and has been passed on for many centuries. As you can see, there's a voodoo that is actually hugging together and the strings are tying together, and there's actually another extra voodoo. So this voodoo is actually meaning if there is any third party coming into the relationship, so the third party will actually be separate away. This is just a sample of what we have actually done to show everyone. For the couples who are actually trying to salvage the relationship, be it the female or the male, so their names with their date of birth will be written inside the voodoo, and we will use the special chanting string ก็คือกาสังเลยใช่ไหมครับผมได้กาสัง So use a special chanting string called the ได้กาสัง which is actually string that is used to actually to chant for the date, and then after that we will tie up together.
When you talk about bringing lovers together and all that, where do we draw the line between people coming to you and say, hey, I like that girl, can you please cast a spell on her? Do you take all kinds of people walking to you, or do you have a principle that you say certain cases you
Okay, today I would like to emphasize that all these actually love prayers actually they work, but I would say it will work for 85 to 90% for most people. And I would say the 10% that won't work, first of all, they have some personal problem, character problem, or they don't really treasure their lovers, or they are perfectly strangers. If let's say today someone approach me or approach Ajarn Nien Air, or someone will consult me to ask me to approach Ajarn Nien Air for the love prayer for them. So if they are totally strangers or they are actually uncontactable, it's almost impossible for the prayers to take effect. If let's say today you happen to know of some actress, actor, you want to come for a love prayer, he doesn't even know who you are. You just want to make him fall or make her fall in love with you. That's impossible. So we do have some terms and conditions to make it happen.
So let's say I go to a restaurant, I see the waitress, I like her. Like maybe she got a boyfriend already. I can take the corpse oil, I can buy from here, and then when she serve me, give me the menu, I can rub on her hand, and I can make her fall in love with me. Does it work that way?
Okay, it is actually effective. But normally before normally before people they come and rent or get all these crops oil or get all these, we will call in the Thai words we call mahasane, which is all the charisma attraction items. We will always warn that person not to mess with people who are married, or they are not supposed to mess with people who actually have boyfriend or girlfriend.
Okay.
If they refuse to take our advice and they use the crops oil or they use other charisma item, they break the precept.
Yeah.
So they have to bear the consequences themselves.
What are some of the price to pay for such using such magic?
Initially, when they are using this magic, because it doesn't come immediately.
Okay.
So normally, the luck of the person will start to go down, and if he is a business owner, his business will drop, or the business will collapse. Some will face financial issue. And we have seen a lot of all those devotees and customers, they are actually married, but they still want to have additional love, from additional attention from the outside, and they mess with people who are actually married also, so their life will be very, I will have to use the word fucked up.
Would I be right to say that as a master, in this case, I'll use a more layman term, like a service provider, you are able to provide the service, but what they do with the things the gift that you give them is based on their own decision. So if they have evil intent, they break up people's family, then the karma is on them, they pay the price.
No, not necessary. If the person who actually, I would not use the word as a service provider. I mean, describe our trade as spiritual teachers. So if we know that the person who come to us, their target is actually married, or they are trying to mess up the life of other people, we will actually not let them have the item, or we will not let them do the prayer at all. The Chinese and even the Thai, they believe that some people they are fated to be together, some people they are not fated to be together. So normally before we start any prayers, we will actually request for the date of birth and the photo, which is in Thai and Chinese we call it the ngo heng, which is the features of the face. We will look at the date of birth to see whether their astrology, their date of birth really match together. If their astrology, they are meant to be together, or they are still fated to be together, or they still have a chance to be together, then of course we can proceed with the prayer. But if they are not meant to be together, we can tell them the prayer will be effective. The prayer will be effective for a period of time. After that is how you manage the relationship. And lastly, if the person who approached us, he has very serious character problem, which is actually he's very violent to his wife, or he actually mistreat the kids, or he has done a lot of things to, maybe he's unfaithful to the husband previously. So even if you want to salvage the relationship, we will look at all the different terms and conditions and situation.
For those of us who are watching this and we are concerned that maybe someone might have put a spell on us, hey, how come I like this guy, or how come I like this guy, cannot stop thinking about her. Is there a sign for the layperson to identify that a spell has been cast on them?
Okay, there are two kind of situations. If let's say a guy keep thinking of a girl, or a girl keep thinking of a guy, and it's like very uncontrollable, and especially at a certain timing, especially maybe in the night time, or especially maybe at a certain moment of time, he keep thinking of the girl, and if he doesn't message the girl, or he doesn't see the girl, then he will feel very uncomfortable. He will need to go and find a girl. There are chances that he is either under the effect of black magic, love spell, or he can be under the affection of all the charisma blessing that the other party has actually done.
I love him, and I don't care what you think.
So that's why nowadays you can see there's a lot of people who are actually approaching all the different master for charisma blessing, charm blessing, because all this charm blessing and charisma blessing actually works.
Yeah. One of the stories that I got from a member of my community is that he's married. Of course, he go to Thailand, he play lah. Then he come back to Singapore, his cock cannot stand. Only keep going back there. Is that the kind of spell that you do on people as well?
Actually, this is not a kind of spell that we do on people, but this is a kind, I would use the word charm, it's a kind of charm we do it on our devotees. Because it is not black magic, but it is a special kind of charm, which is actually we use it to enhance our devotees. And this is what most devotees, they come and look for me for. So after we do the blessing, we do the charm on that particular devotees, after he get intimate or he have sex with anyone, so the person will just keep thinking of that person when it is related to sex. So if let's say the guy might go away from him and the guy might go back to the wife, the guy might go back to maybe try some prostitution or go to clubbing, but he just won't find the same kind of excitement.
Now, Thailand is a place that has a lot of Ajarn, a lot of practitioners, which is like almost an industry within Thailand. How did Ajarn Nien Air get the reputation of being the legendary master in Thailand?
ครับผมก็คนอื่นมันไม่เรียนไม่จริงอะฮะมันเรียนไม่จริงไม่จังมันเรียนตามเน็ตตามโซเชียลนี่เราเรียนมาจริงศึกษามาจริงพระเวทมาจริงชื่อเสียงเราไม่ได้มาอย่างโชคช่วยได้มาด้วยฝีมือล้วนๆนะครับกว่าจะมาถึงปัจจุบันได้เนี่ยทำมา 40-50 ปีแล้ว
First of all, he said he is in the spiritual world for about nearly 50 years. So this year he's 64 going to 65. So he has started his spiritual path ever since at the age of 14. พ่อบวชตั้งแต่พ่อเป็นเน้นตั้งแต่อายุ14เนาะ
14
So
นักบวชมา28 ปี
So he started his spiritual path at the age of 14. So he was a nen. So nen is actually a description of a young monk. So if you are below 18 or you are below 21, they will call you a nen rather than the usual name that we hear Long Po, Long Pi. No. So if you are a young monk, so you are called a nen. So that's why how his name Nien Air come from it. His name is actually Air. So Nien was the description because he was a young monk for 28 years.
Okay. But now we still call him Nien is respect or?
No, because it has been his signature already. So everyone knows. So in the Thai, some people they try to be very respectful. They will call him Ajarn Air, Ajarn Air. And how he actually earned his name as a necromancer is because in his early age, when he really do all the amulets, when he do all the blessing, he still use all those traditional way and the way which are actually recorded according to the past, which what we have mentioned just now, the methods of like making effective NMP, which are all the crop soils, or effective kumantong, which are all those like kids image, or what is commonly seen like Prakngan, which is the image with a red eye. So he really put in his effort. He go to the cemetery. He even sacrificed his youth of 10 years just to prove that he is using the correct method and the traditional method to make effective amulets.
มีพลังหนุมานหลวงพ่อดิ่งสิงห์หลวงพ่อเดิมแป้งเจิมตำหาทุ่มทายด้านพายก็ต้องเนนแอร์อยู่แล้วทำการปิ้งย่างทำเตกของจริงหมด
In the Thai they have this saying, so Hanuman you have to look for this certain monk, Mid More you have to look for Dom Po Dem, Nam Pai Kumantong you have to look for Nien Air.
Going to the cemetery and doing all the rituals, has Ajarn seen when you were learning, have you come across any encounters that scare you or challenge you, or maybe it's even close to near-death encounter?
เจอมาเยอะแล้วฮะเจอผีเจออะไรมาหมดนะฮะเจอผีเจออะไรมาหมดจิตวิญญาณเจอมาหมดแล้วครับเรียกว่าผ่านร้อนผ่านหนาวมาอย่างโชคโชนน่ะมีความรู้
He say in the olden days
ผ่านมาแล้วหมดแล้ว
all the spirits in the cemetery are actually more fierce. They manifest more clearly. So in the past, so normally when
เล่าเรื่องผีเนี่ยเล่าเป็นคืนเป็นเดือนยังไม่จบ
so normally when they go to when they go to the cemetery, or the spirits over there are more aggressive. But he say he will cut the story short because if we were to discuss about this, right?
จะถึงจุดนี้ผ่านร้อนผ่านหนาวมาอย่างเยอะแยะเลย
Too many years of experience and it will be too long.
Okay. What are the scariest kind of spirits that you face?
เปรตเนี่ยผีมันรุนแรงอ่ะมันรุนแรงแล้วมันก็เกิดมีผีฮะผีมันมาอยู่ในป่าช้าดิบอ่ะดงดิบอ่ะมาหลอกมาหลอนเจอเยอะฮะถ้าเล่าเป็นคืนยังไม่จบเลยฮะเป็นเดือนนี้ไม่จบแล้วครับเรื่องผีเนี่ยประสบการณ์เยอะทุกวันก็หากินกับผีอยู่ผีช่วยเหลือเราได้
So to summarize is actually spirits who actually they die by accident and they are actually pregnant when they die, especially for women, and they are especially when they die on special day like they die on a Saturday, and their body is thrown into the forest or thrown into the cemetery on a Tuesday. So this kind of spirits, they are extremely,
Vengeful,
fierce.
okay.
Yes, revengeful. Just like when the Chinese, they say if a person died in red, so they will be more vengeful. So for the Thai, if you are pregnant and you are being killed, you are died of an accident, or you come into some cases like maybe the woman was actually being raped
เล่า
or
เรื่อง
something
ผี
like
ให้ฟังเนี่ย
that.
มีรายการหนึ่งเล่าเรื่องผีเล่าเป็นช็อตๆไปเลยเจอมาเยอะ
So these are the actually spirits that are actually more fierce.
But how does Ajarn deal with such spirit?
ก็สวดมนต์ไหว้พระมีวิชาดี เรียนวิชามีก็จะมีคนมาลองอยู่ธรรมดาอยู่แล้ว
First of all, he will chant first, and then he will talk terms with the spirit. So he will say, okay, in order to help you, okay, so after you come into my ambulance, after
วิทยายุทธเข้าไปอีกแกนกล้าเข้าไปอีก
after I take maybe in the past, so when the laws was still not that strict, so they are still allowed to actually collect all the crops and the bones to make into effective ambulance, or we call in our words, we call it, ambulance with barangs or with all those like crops related or related to the dead. So in the past, it was actually okay. So the law was not that strict. So in order to, before he do that, he will actually talk terms and conditions together with the spirit. So I'm going to do this for you.
จะเล่าเรื่องผีให้ฟัง เรื่องประสบการณ์อีกเยอะแยะอันนี้รู้จากประวัติที่มาที่ไปก่อนวันนี้
So he will talk terms with them. But today, he say to all your viewers that today he will only explain just a bit of it. So get all your viewers to follow you and watch the next one. Next one.
คุณเราต้องรู้ที่มาที่ไปก่อน แล้วก็ถึงเล่ากันไปจะต้องการรู้แบบไหน อันนี้รู้เกี่ยวกับด้านไสยศาสตร์ตัวตนของอาจารย์เนนแอร์ก่อน
So today he will talk more about the white magic and the magic, because for the spirit and ghost wise it will be a never ending, very long.
Multiple chapters when it comes to ghosts and spirits.
Yes.
Well, since we're talking about white magic, just to address one issue, I understand that Ajarn has been in prison for what, 1 year? Or
No, he has been in prison for 9 years and 9 months.
9 years and 9 months. Why?
Because of the making of crop oil, burning of crop oil, and the video was actually featured in the YouTube, was featured in the social media. So during that time, he was, in the Thai words, they call it Ba Vicha. So which is, in the layman words, which is he's someone who is really into magic. He won the best, so he used the most traditional method to do it, and he featured it on the social media to tell everyone he's the real thing. In the past, there's a lot of, different masters, they don't really dare to go into the cemetery, so they just use all the pig oil, all this, and they just give it to their devotees, and they say it's Namampai. So that's why they don't earn the name as a necromancer. So he want to prove to the world that he's the real thing, so that's why he actually went to the cemetery and he actually make that video out. And so during that time, the Thai government decided to step into it, and so they actually, they charged him of like messing and killing, murdering. So that's why he was actually sentenced to 150 years during that time.
เรายิ่งสูงยิ่งหนาวเราอยู่ที่แจ้งพวกคุณอยู่ที่มืด
So yeah, there's this saying that, okay, so the higher you climb, so the more haters you have.
เดี๋ยวด้านกฎหมายไม่มีอย่างนี้มันยุคนี้มันผิดกฎหมายหมดการโยกย้ายทำลายศพหรือการแบบนี้มันผิดกฎหมายการปิ้งย่างเด็กมันผิดกฎหมาย
But that can only be done in the past. So actually before this issue actually came about, so he was actually recognized as a necromancer in Thailand because he really do it the real way. He say right now the only thing that can actually affect him is the law. He's not afraid of any other black magic or this because every day, because first of all, every day he still do his spiritual homework, he still do all the chanting, and he still do all the offerings. So he still do what is actually required every day. So the only thing that can actually like mess up his life in the past and until today is only the law and nothing else.
ปูยาปะอาปะมัจจุปะทิบาสาสุลือโอเคฟ้าใช้
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.